I declare the meeting open and this advise members of the public in attendance that under the city's live streaming and recording policy that being present you consent to the city recording and live streaming your image and or voice. Could I call upon Deputy Mayor to welcome us to country?
Thank you, Worship. I begin by acknowledging my elders past and present. Ngalat lini kuru ngala noich neji nunga buja. Nunga mutjerper neji nuna kabrak nunga buja kurulong. From the beginning of time to the end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation for many, many years. Jenajin Karajan Jerper Nijawern Noongar Munja my Buddha. Look, listen, understand and embrace all the elements of Noongar country that is forever our home. Kai Wanju Nganko Jerper Nija Noongar Buja Darsley Wangi Noongar Buja. Hello and welcome. My heart is happy as we're gathered on country and meeting here on Noongar country.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here, and before commencing proceedings, I too would like to acknowledge that we come together tonight on the traditional lands of the Noongar people and pay my respects to elders past and present. Could I call upon Councillor Kearney to read the dedication for the last time?
May we, the elected members of the City of Kwinana, have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with due consideration, integrity and respect for the Council Chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interest of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Attendance, apologies, nil. Public questions, there are nil. Petitions, the councillors have a petition to present. Presentation, there are no deputations. Confirmation of minutes held on the meeting 10th of September 2025. Is there any additional information? Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Sargent. Either councillors wish to speak? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Declaration of interest. Nil. Requests for leave of absence. Nil. Nothing on item 10, 11, 12.1, minutes of the Bullamara Aboriginal Consultative Committee held on the 6th of October. Is there any additional information? Any questions? Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just had a question in relation to item 6.2 on the Bullamara minutes. So that's in relation to the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage, Aboriginal Conservation, use of Thomas Oval and Sloanes Reserve. Could the City please add some detail to this item and what the new direction from DPLH means for bookings of Thomas Oval and Sloanes Reserve for community groups and residents, which are currently available for booking on Space to Go?
Through the Chair, this is a new process and we've been talking to the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage to better understand it. It's still quite vague, the process itself. So the report to Bullamara was understanding if the committee would want us to go to them every time every time a new application comes up, or have a bulk set approval model that we then take exceptions to. We're going through the process for the first time for one of our own events in December, which will give us a greater understanding, and then we'll update the event, community event application process to make sure it's extremely clear so we can support community groups with any booking requests that come in.
And perhaps as a follow-up question, does this impact any existing bookings for the future, and would there be any education around that if that is the case?
Through the Chair, not that we're aware of at this stage. It's very much if the land is being broken at all that we need to put applications in. For example, the event we've got coming up, the local orgs volunteer event, we'll be putting marquees up, so that will need application. But we're not sure, we're not aware of any other bookings at this stage.
Cool.
So it doesn't affect things like the soccer that's an existing user, if that's where you were going.
Yeah, mainly for community kind of groups, residents who may be planning events in the future who may not understand that with the new direction there could be a lead time that needs to be considered, and additional kind of details to fill out, etc. So just as we learn as a city, just being able to educate, I guess, these groups and have it on Space to Go, I imagine.
Through the Chair, definitely, and that's why we're glad we're going through the process first, so we've got a clear well, I shouldn't say clear possibly at this stage, but a better understanding of the process that we can then educate community through, and actually not just educate them, help them and work through the process with them as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Someone like to move those minutes? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Rouse. Either councillors wish to speak? Speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Item 17.2, proposed road names. Sorry, skipped ahead too far. 12.2 minutes of the Audit and Improvement and Risk Committee, 22nd of September. Is there any additional information? Questions? Someone move that way? Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Wood. Either councillors wish to speak? Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. It's great to see the city's continued dedication to risk awareness and mitigation, the engagement of Risk West to train staff and gain comprehensive insights, and to conduct a gap analysis for the city's strategic risk register is to be commended. So thank you again to the City of Kwinana and this document of how you were proceeding to make sure the safety culture is protected within the city. Good work. Thank you.
Councillor Wood.
I concur with what Councillor Sargent said.
Anyone speak against? If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. 12.3, Council Policy Review. Any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Questions? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. So just in relation to the use of the credit card, the policy there, and the change from the CEO's credit card statement being, I guess, reviewed and approved by the Mayor now to the CFO, to the general public, that change may be come across a bit odd. Could we just explain that a little further, and I guess any additional detail on the other ways to have that oversight as it relates to that specific component
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
from the council, I should say?
Sorry, what was that?
I guess oversight that the Mayor would have had kind of
Yeah.
also exists elsewhere, I guess.
Okay. So this is a change as a result of an audit by the Office of the Auditor General looking across half a dozen councils, local governments. A few months ago, you'll probably recall there was some media attention over it. So one of the things that was identified by the OAG was that the Mayor doesn't have any delegation for the signing off on credit cards in terms of a financial or a purchasing authority. So the recommendation from the OAG was that another member, particularly the CFO, should do that. There is a lot of checks and balances in place. So credit cards come to, all purchases come to council, so that comes monthly on the accounts payable, and then it's also reported through to audit and risk as well.
Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. My question relates to the attachment page 100. Can the city speak to how the hardship considerations are applied to ratepayers prior to the debt collection process being applied, please?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So we have a hardship policy which has been in existence for a number of years. So before any debt collections undertaken, and if there is hardship which has been raised by a ratepayer, then the finance team, the ratepaying team will work with the resident to get an understanding of their situation and look at other options in terms of payment processes. Over the last 5 years, we have had one case where we've actually had to apply the hardship policy. But generally, by working through with the resident, we can come to a situation where we can get a repayment plan in place which is agreeable to everybody.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. Okay. In this attachment page 63, can the city speak to how the maintenance to improve an asset's lifespan is factored into that table, please?
Through the chair, the table is a range of useful lives and for an asset, and our depreciation is based on useful life. Within our asset management plans and within all the finance data we have very specific useful lives for each asset, and they all fit within those ranges. The useful life is used to calculate depreciation, and it's done in such a way that depreciation equals the amount of money we need to spend to renew that asset. So essentially, our annual depreciation is the amount of money we should be investing in our assets. So that's the renewal, so the major capital investments like resurfacing roads. For about 4 or 5 years ago, we did a calculation on what we were spending and what we needed to spend, and we determined the number that the council needs to hit was 80%. So our annual depreciation, we should be investing 80% of that into asset renewals. And because that was a big step from where we were, council put in place a plan to achieve that. At the time it was 11 years. Because of the inflation from COVID, it's probably pushed out by a couple of years, but we still have that target to hit 80%. So this table itself doesn't drive that in any way, but it sort of sets the limits in which we operate that real detail.
Right, any further questions? No questions. Someone like to move that item? Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Brown. Either councillor wish to speak? Councillor Brown, anyone speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Nothing on item 13. 14.1, naming of Wellard West Pavilion. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Smith.
Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Deputy Mayor. Would either wish to speak? Councillor Sargent.
I would just like to say that it's an honour to name our community buildings instead of using the same name Thomas multiple times. I personally work in a building that has the same name as a room that is a horrible space, and the amount of confusion, as well as that, to acknowledge and consult our First Nations people to have a true connection to the land where this is going. It's just a fantastic thing to see, and I thank the city staff for their respect and understanding in your naming process. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Agree with the sentiments of my fellow councillor Sargent, and also the process for the community consultation in deriving to this particular name, which encompasses a few of the names that could have been possible, but at the heart of the area which we wanted to be able to showcase was the connection between the history, the beauty at the time of the season, that the flowers come out around there, and the links to the workers that used to work in the dairy there, and the Aboriginal families that camp nearby and work that land there. So we thought that coming up with this name sort of reflected all those the memories about the history of that place and the connection to that place. And it'll be no more prominent than August, September, when the flowers fully come out, and it's just transitioning into that season of the rebirth and the regrowth and the renewal of that area that's going to be showcased every year. For everyone is going to have the ability to be able to use those amenities and appreciate the council's efforts in ensuring that we have state-of-the-art facilities available for our community to use. Thank you.
Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. And can I also acknowledge the naming committee that were involved in naming that, as well as there was consultation by Bullamara, and obviously the city did a reasonable amount of research in finding an appropriate name. It wasn't actually a simple task. So I'm glad that we now have a name. and the director can advise the architect of what needs to go on the sign. Where are we at? Nothing on item 15, 16, 17.1 has been withdrawn. 17.2, proposed road names for Apsley Estate, Mandoglup, stage 15. Is there any additional information? Does anyone wish to move to the alternative names? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Your Worship. The one particular name that I wish to change the alternative is it the Pickham Road? Pickham is the middle name of Alfred Bussell, who's part of the Bussell family, which was attributed to some atrocities in the southwest of West Australia on the Wadandi people. And it also recognises, acknowledged that the Severman, although he was also a pioneer for the area, began farming and cleared the land, and also has a connection all through the southwest of Western Australia as well. I would like to be considered for this change, in particularly around the connotations around the connections to the Bussell family. Thank you.
So you're moving an amendment. Is there someone to second the amendment?
Can I move a amendment?
Well, tell us what you want to move, and we'll see what.
To also remove the name Grimes and put up another alternate for the Grimes street name is named after someone that did something in New South Wales and doesn't have a West Australian connection versus the other names. I would ask that we could also add Hillside as well as an alternate.
What? Okay, sorry. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move that we defer the item and bring it back to the next council meeting, because I think there's some concern, obviously, about a couple of the road names, and I would prefer that the city's officers can provide us with more background information about the names before we make a decision. Is there a seconder? Seconded, Deputy Mayor. I've moved the motion. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. If we could arrange for more background information provided about those street names to be provided at the next council meeting. Item 17.3, demolition of the First Roads Board office at 156 Medina Avenue, Medina. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Councillors have any questions? Councillor Penny?
Thank you. Could the city speak to, in more detail, to the proposed use of that site once the building's being demolished? Thank you very much.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the plan is to investigate options to develop a couple of new dwellings on the site following the Medina guidelines, looking at how we can do a sustainable development that is a model for redeveloping and serve as a demonstration project to the community so that they can see adaptive reuse and or light modular construction techniques, framed construction that will demonstrate different ways of doing things in a style that still reflects the Medina character.
Any other questions? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. Could the city outline the steps being taken to document the building ahead of demolition and how the results of that documentation exercise will be used to showcase this piece of Kwinana history in the future? For example, book or written form, online, video, physical elements.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so the condition of recommended condition of approval is for a full heritage documentation of the site. So that's following the Heritage Council's guidelines. So that is the standard form for archival record keeping of heritage fabric when it's demolished, so that you can that would be kept in the state heritage and our local heritage library, so that there's an ongoing record of that place. So how we use that, we can use that in other areas, in marketing and historical documents, records, but that will give us that formal documentation of the building before it's demolished.
So follow-up question.
Sorry?
Follow-up question, if I
Sure.
may. Will there be an opportunity for members of the public, or even elected members, people in this room, to visit this site ahead of demolition?
As in a formal tour of the building or a viewing of the site? Is that
yeah.
what you mean? Because
Yes,
at the moment,
viewing of the site as it stands, maybe from the city point of view, but also members of the public who may have an interest.
I don't believe you could go in.
Doug probably can answer that one.
Mr. Elkins?
Through the Mayor, and the Mayor was just about to answer the question by the sounds of it, it doesn't meet disability access requirements, so we wouldn't be able to open it up to the general public for that reason, but certainly, and while it's still there, people can visit it and see outside the building.
If anyone perhaps listening had a particular interest, could they reach out to the city ahead of demolition and arrange a visit?
I'm sure they could.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe also there's a number of hazards on the inside in relation to the wiring's been stripped. There's a significant amount of asbestos, and I believe there's some damage on the inside. So as well as the disability access or inclusion access, it's not safe for someone to go in there. But there's no reason why you couldn't go and have a look. There's, to be quite frank, there's not much to see. It's one of the original fibro or asbestos properties built in 1954 to service the workers of the BP refinery. So it's.
Okay. And just one last question I had was on the the public consultation that's noted in the report. Could the city please summarise the results of the consultation with the Medina Residents Group, and then as it relates to the Kwinana Heritage Group, who was also consulted, it talks about acquiring objects from the Heritage Group, acquiring objects from the site, and as part of that, could the city confirm that can actually take place without challenge? Sorry, I just combined them. A number of questions.
I'll start.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, I did speak with the Kwinana Heritage Group, and they were interested in materials that they might be able to use at their site at Smokes Cottage, so that they would like another garage apparently, or other materials that might be useful for them. And in that process, I think Mr. Elkins can probably talk to what we can do to facilitate that.
But the city certainly is actually looking to salvage the floorboards to actually utilise in the refurbishment of this building.
Okay.
Mr. Elkins?
Yeah, through the chair, if they want to dismantle the shed and relocate it, if that's something that we're agreeable to allowing to happen on Sloanes, because obviously that's a site we want to protect as well, then that's something we can facilitate. There's not really anything in the building that's salvageable. We will recover some floorboards and we'll reuse this as part of this building. But there's also some value, there's Jarrah in that building, and that will offset some of the demolition costs. So when we demolish it, there's going to be significant costs in disposal of asbestos in particular. When we go to market for that, part of the offset of the demolition is the recovery of materials and reuse. So the demolition company will recover that material and then make that available for other builds, across Perth. So it's part of that circular economy. So unless there's a particular artefact within the building that we're not aware of that is easy to pull out, there's probably not a lot in there that they could get hold of.
Okay. And just on the Medina Residents Group, I only asked because in the summary table, their comments aren't represented.
Yep.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I did speak to one of the members of the Medina Residents Group, and basically there was no specific issues raised with the loss of the building, just that was good to know about it, and we actually spent a lot of time talking about other things in the Medina area rather than actually the Roads Board building itself. But he said, the member said he would share that information that I'd provided about the city's plans with the rest of the group, and that I gave him my contact details, and I didn't receive any further inquiries from members of the group.
I actually personally spoke directly with Mandy Grubb in relation to the project, and she was actually quite excited by the fact that what we were planning to put in there would showcase what you can do in Medina as opposed to what, utilising the Medina guidelines. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you kind of got a stamp of approval from Mandy Grubb, you would kind of think that the rest of the group were reasonably happy. So
Okay, thank you very much.
this is an indicative comment. I think it's also important to note that it was only the roads board for a very short period of time. The property was constructed originally as one of the original houses, and the fact that a location for the roads board was required, and it was put into that house. I'm sure there would have been a number of vacant properties at the time, and that was the property that was chosen. And I guess as the report alludes to, the heritage in the building is about the story of what it was, as opposed to the actual remnants of the building. To replace all the elements of the existing building and bring it up to spec to actually lease it to someone would basically replace any of the heritage items currently within the property, and it's almost rebuilding it. So from the point of view of the actual building, it's obviously unsavable from a cost point of view. Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. Just with the discussion with asbestos stripping happening and the potential of people going to recover, can the city just please speak to the safety protocols to make sure that...
So I can answer that one.
Yep.
The city would be engaging a qualified contractor to remove the asbestos and do the demolition.
Okay, so when someone's going on site, that'll be someone that's trained, or open asbestos is a risk if it's not sprayed with water. So just to make sure that everyone's safe and fine to
Yeah, no, I
ensure.
would imagine then, and I'm sure the directors could reaffirm what I'm about to say. I'm pretty sure our insurers wouldn't allow us to use a contractor that didn't tick all the boxes from a health and safety point of view, and especially when it comes to dealing with asbestos. So rest assured, it will be done correctly. Is there any other questions? Someone like to move the item? Moved Councillor Penny, seconded Councillor Kearney. Councillor Penny, would you like to speak?
Thank you. It's always sad to see a heritage building reach the end of its life, but I really want to commend the city for its work over this has been an item over a number of years that the city has looked at multiple options to refit or to relocate this building, and it's been an ongoing conversation and discussion. So I really commend the city for doing its due diligence around this and to explore all the options thoroughly. What is really inspiring, and I think that's how we've got the buy-in from the community around this, is that opportunity to look to the future, to look at how we can build sustainable contemporary homes in a style that matches our heritage values in Medina and works with the heritage guidelines, which was a primary objective of the founding brothers and sisters of the Medina Residents Group when it was first dreamt up. It was a goal to see these kinds of developments occur. So I think we've come a long way, and it's a really good outcome for the community. I also might just take this opportunity to note that while there's a significant history around the roads board, and there's an attachment to that, the history and the story around the St John's ambulance contribution is really significant, and especially around that building. And at this time I want to mention Mrs Mueller, Mrs M, Elsie Mueller, who back in the day when the St John's ambulance was established in Kwinana, it was originally established to service accidents on the industrial area and had operating hours that matched the operations of the industrial area. And as a woman with young children in Kwinana and a nurse who'd emigrated from Germany, she really advocated for an ambulance service that occurred in the evenings, and that female ambulance officers were trained and employed to work with women and children in the community as well. So through her advocacy, Kwinana got a very well-rounded ambulance service, and it's a legacy and story that lives on in our community. So I'm looking forward to the stories of the Roads Board, but also the many other uses of that building. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kearney?
I was going to say the same thing actually. Finally, has been a decision made. I wish we'd had done it next month though, because it is quite sad. Because I actually did my first day courses there with Mrs. Muir years ago. I did first St John's. So yeah, it is sad that it is going, but I think everything's been done that can possibly be done to try and decide what we're going to do. So we're going forward now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? I thought you were Councillor Brown. I thought you were going to speak against. Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. 18.1 accounts for payment for the month ended 31st August 25. Any additional information? Councillor Sargent, do you have any questions? Yes, please. Oh, look at that.
Anybody else need to go first? Could the city please clarify on page 459 of the attachments, the costing of $8,147.58 that at the moment says that it's attached to a private person's name for a meeting, and what that amount was for on record actually charged to, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So that payment has been misentered as the description. So it was a refund for a resident who's left Banksia Park Retirement Estate. She's moved into a nursing home, and it was part of the returns of her Lease for Life package. That was her portion of the payment back. We split it between multiple places, and that one line has been entered in incorrectly into the system. It has been allocated to the appropriate account.
Any other questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Rouse. Councillor Sargent, wish to speak? No? Yes?
All I will say is, again, thank you to the accounts team for the transparency, and like that, everybody occasionally makes a typo, but it's now on record and what that account transaction line was for. So thank you.
Councillor Rouse? Anyone speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. 18.2 monthly financial report, August 25. Any additional information? Any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Wood, seconded Councillor Kearney. Councillor Wood? No, Councillor Kearney? Anyone speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. There's nothing on item 19. 20. Is there any late or urgent business? Nothing. 22. Reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Worship. I've done those duties expected of me in my community. Would like to address my fellow councillors and those that are watching online. As we gather here tonight for our final council meeting before the upcoming local government election, I want to take a moment to speak from the heart, to reflect, to give thanks and to look ahead. It's been an honour and a privilege to serve this community as Deputy Mayor and an elected member of the City of Kwinana. Every decision, every challenge and every achievement we've shared has been driven by one simple purpose: to make Kwinana a better place for our people, our families and our generations. To the people of Kwinana, I thank you. Thank you for your trust, your support and your belief in our shared vision, whether it's through community forums, local events or a chat down at the local shops. Your voices have shaped the work we do here in Council. You remind us why local government matters, because it's about people, connection and place. I also want to acknowledge my fellow councillors. It's been an honour serving alongside you, as well as yourself, Mr Mayor, and your dedicated city staff for the work that you commit to and dedicate yourself to each and every day. Together we've navigated some complex issues and celebrated some incredible achievements. from community projects and infrastructure upgrades to supporting local families and preserving our environment. It's been a team effort, built on respect, collaboration, and a shared love for this city. As we head into the election period, I want to take this opportunity to wish all candidates, both new and returning and retiring, well. I would particularly like to make note and like to thank Councillor Sue Kearney for her service to the people of Kwinana. It's been an honour and privilege to serve on council alongside you. It's been almost 40 years since we've sort of worked in circles around in this wonderful community that we love so much. And it's great that you are brave to put your hand up and serve the people of Kwinana. I met you, your Merv and your family, and I wish you all the best in your next adventure as you and Merv can now be respectfully joining officially the Grey Nomads fraternity and driving off into the sunset. And I wish you the very best. Standing for council takes courage, commitment and a deep care for community. I commend each of you for putting your hand up to serve. Whatever the outcome, I have faith that the City of Kwinana will continue to thrive under strong leadership and community spirit. Our story is one of resilience, diversity and pride, and that's something worth protecting and celebrating. To everyone here tonight and everyone online, thank you again for the opportunity to represent you. It's been one of the great honours of my life to serve as an elected member and as your Deputy Mayor. I look forward to continuing whatever may happen in the future, whatever capacity community chooses, and I'll always be contributing to this community. I love this community, and I will be doing everything I can to ensure that the City of Kwinana and its people come first. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo the Deputy Mayor's sentiments and congratulate Sue Kearney. I know this chapter is coming to an end, but what you and your husband have done for this community over the years, not only on council, but through sporting clubs and other clubs and the hardware store, congratulations. It's a legacy that I don't think anybody else will live up to. And good luck to all those that are running on the weekend. Thank you.
Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just briefly from me, since the last Ordinary Council meeting on the 11th of September, as part of my role on the Coburn Sound Management Council, I attended a session between the City of Kwinana and DWER representatives focused on the State Environmental Coburn Sound Policy Review. On Wednesday the 17th of September, I attended the citizenship ceremony held at Medina Hall. On the 8th of October, alongside many here, I attended the Meet the Candidates event hosted by the Medina Residents Group at the Kwinana Bowling Club, and I commend all those candidates who turned out to get involved. It's not the easiest thing to do. On the 11th of October, I attended Summer Sounds Honeywood, and I'd just also like to wrap up and say to all the candidates in the room, those who are retiring, all the best, wish them all the best for whatever the next chapter may hold.
Councillor Kearney.
Okay, so I would like to thank everybody, the CEO, the executive team and the wonderful staff that we have here. I would also like to especially thank Alicia, who has always been so wonderful to Merv and I over the years. She's my bright light. Okay. So, and I'd like to thank our team here. It's been such awesome working with you. And thank you also for the lovely words. And well, good luck to you guys on the weekend. I'm sure you'll be here again next week. And I would also like to thank the community of Kwinana for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I hope I've made all the right decisions. So thank you all.
Thank you, Councillor Kearney. Councillor Penny.
Thank you. I'm just going to start by giving a little bit of a shout out for some events that are coming up this weekend. So Colin has their program launch, and I do believe there's still some tickets available, but you do need to book them online. So get down there and check it out. Some amazing things happening at Colin over the next year. The Medina Community Festival is on this Sunday. It's going to be an absolute blast. So get down to Medina Hall from 11 o'clock. There's a big event happening at the Motorplex as well. So lots of things happening in Kwinana. And if you haven't voted yet, please get your ballots in. And they can be dropped off at the council chambers, I believe, up until 6 p.m. on Saturday. So very important that everybody gets their ballots in and has a say. Councillor Kearney, it's been such an honour to have you on council when I started my journey 2 years ago. We've known each other for so long, for 25, 30 years, through the rec centre, through the hardware store. You and Merv have been family to me, and that's what a real community is. That you have family outside of the people you were born to, that have seen you through many phases of your life, and I'm eternally grateful for the support and strength that you and Merv have shown this community and me. Thank you.
Councillor Rouse, your pre-prepared statement there ready to go?
Oh, nothing pre-prepared. A few things jotted down, but I have nothing to report except that, I'd just like to thank the councils for our close working relationship over the last 2 and 4 years and 8 years with yourself, Your Worship. The great Muhammad Ali said, "Public service is the rent you pay for your room here on earth," and that's something I've tried to live by, not only through my 8 years of council, but throughout my whole adult life, and those words still ring true today. Those people in our community that ask what council have done and criticise council, I say we've done a bloody lot. We are a high functioning council, and that's down to our dedication to our city of Kwinana and our love for the city of Kwinana, and that's down to our exceptional working relationship with our CEO and our executive staff. I'd like to thank previous Mayor Carol Adams and yourself, Your Worship, for your support over the last few years. Mr. Jack, thank you for the last 5 years. I think we've done exceptionally well since you've taken the chair. I'd like to say thank you to all the directors, those present in the room today, and those past ones and those ones that have just recently left us. Knowing my wife's involvement previously as a director of the city, I know the hard work that goes into your roles and the exceptional job that you do on a day-to-day basis. So thank you. To our wonderful staff who are exceptional in what they do and so dedicated to the people of Kwinana. They come in day to day and present themselves. They take a lot of the heat, especially our frontline workers. But they're the heart and soul of what runs this city. And of course to Anna, to you and our previous wonderful Council Governance and Administrations Officer, I thank you. You haven't been long in this role with us, but you know what you mean to me, and I thank you very much for that. And so I just want to finish, I do stick my neck out. I do become an attack dog at times, and I've taken the blows, but I stand tall because I did it my way. Thank you.
Councillor Sargent.
I didn't realise we were allowed to say thank you to everyone, so...
We technically not, so I can we can look at the standing orders now if you want.
No, it's cool, but I was like going, no, Wayne's going to look at me going, or you will say with no preamble. So I was prepared with a proper...
I'll give you a preamble this time, on this one
Okay,
occasion.
let's give this a crack. All right, since the last council meeting, I've had the opportunity to participate in Australian Citizenship Day on Wednesday, the 17th of the 9th, citizenship ceremony at Medina Hall to welcome 68 of our newest citizens with Madeline King, the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Michael Brown, Councillor Dave Acker, Councillor and Councillor Ivy Penny, sorry darling, to proudly be a part of the Australian journey. I represented Kwinana alongside the Mayor and the CEO at the Walga State Conference on the 23rd of the 9th, where information was provided for local governments around items such as climate, with the introduction of the National Adaptation Plan addressing all 8 systems. For local governments are those who are taking the first active steps to the climate action movement, how the state and federal levels of government are moving to support local government sector with targeted funding in disaster recovery, waterway protections, energy upgrades, and fast charging availability for EVs. Dr. Richard Hames addressed how local government sector are the custodians of place and belonging in this volatile global stage, how to utilise strategic navigation to be the guardians of change in our communities, encouraging to ask why now, and ensuring the outcomes will be valued for not just this generation, but the future generations we are yet to meet. During the AGM, there were many Walga advocacy positions voted in. The one that has the most potential impact to Kwinana was raised by Deputy Mayor Barry Winmar to advocate for the state to provide local funding to address the homeless community impact on local government funding when it removes core resourcing from local governments to achieve their core business functions. So fingers crossed, the state listens and they put money where they're supposed to. On the 25th of the 9th, I attended the launch of the Good Oil at Kwinana Golf Course. This book was written by my friend Peter Miller, shout out, and tells the story of the history and culture of the Kwinana BP refinery. So if you want to read about the stories from generations of locals and the impact of this founding part of our city's histories, copies are on sale now. Small plug. On the 6th of the 10th, I attended Couple with a Ranger at Peace Park. There were rangers, the traffic team and the community safety there, along with the wonderful Kumar to serve a great cup of coffee, while residents were able to do their community safety survey and have the opportunity to register their animal. So if you have an unregistered animal, see the team at the city, they are eager to hook you up. Okay. I also had the opportunity to go with my family to the Honeywood Summer Sounds event, where there was an amazing local atmosphere and great food. I also want to mention the free Emergency WA app that the DFIS team filled me in on. This gives you notifications for areas you set in real time for relevant emergency information from the emergency services. So if you do not have this on your phone, this is a critical tool that you would prefer to have and not need than need and not have. So please download. Okay, finally, I had a tiny paragraph. If this is my last council meeting, I just want to take a moment to say to the Mayor and my fellow councillors, it's been an honour to serve the Kwinana community by your side. And to the CEO and all the staff of the City of Kwinana, thank you for your care, dedication and service to our city, and I wish you all the best going forwards. One more sentence. To the wonderful Sue, and by extension Merv, for I knew Merv before I knew Sue, because we were constructing and building and getting into all sorts of mischief, including creating probably the first thongaphone to be built in Kwinana in the middle of a community neighbourhood day. But it has been an honour to work with you, young lady. We have got up to mischief. Your local knowledge is unparalleled. I can be like, oh, I've met so-and-so, and you go, that's someone's mother with their cousin, and they live over there, and they were part of the golf club. You know and live and breathe Kwinana, and it's been an honour to work with you, and I wish you all the best with your mischief, and hopefully you don't murder your husband somewhere on the Nullarbor.
Highly likely.
And then finally, to the ratepayers of Kwinana that allowed me to be your voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wood.
First of all, I'd just like to speak to Sue. It's been a privilege working alongside you, and you're really going to be missed, and I wish you all the best in the new adventures that you're going to have in this next stage of your life, Sue. So, all the best. and try not to kill your husband.
Yeah, you'll be right.
And I'd like to wish good luck to all those who are standing for to be re-elected, and also to those who are aiming for their first elections. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. There's nothing on item 23. Mayoral announcements. Quite a lot has happened since the last council meeting. I'll single into last Friday I attended the official opening of the Clinker Jetty in Kwinana at Fremantle Port. Does everyone know what that is? It's the basic ingredient used in cement. So there's a new facility that has been built down in Kwinana that will allow, I think it was 10 times the amount of storage of clinker that they previously could store. There's also new conveyors which can take the product straight to Coburn Cement and BGC, saving a significant amount of time. It's a significant investment in the Kwinana community. The amount of the need for, I guess, cement into the future is immense. So the fact that Fremantle Ports has invested significantly in that piece of infrastructure is good for our community. Councillor Penny, when she listed off all the great events that are on the weekend, she missed one of the most important events that is on Sunday, which is Grab a Gladdy, as opposed to something else, for Biodiversity Month, which was actually postponed due to weather. So if anyone's interested in assisting in Grab a Gladdy Day at Weaver Reserve in Wellard, you can find out more information on the city's website. For those people that are unaware, I'm sure how you would be, we're halfway through the month of October, which is also Community Safety Month here at the City of Kwinana. I believe 3 years ago when we first started Community Safety Month, there was about 5 or 6 events. Last year there was 30, this year there's 45 events. I've attended many of the park engagement along with a number of councillors, seen Councillor Rouse along at a couple, and I think I've seen the Deputy Mayor. So for those people that haven't been to any of the community safety events or filled out the community survey, please do so. Please ask your friends, ratepayers that you come across in the street, anyone really, to tell us what they think their top 3 priorities are when it comes to community safety. You can either fill it out manually at one of the community safety events. Again, the calendar is on the city's website. Alternatively, you can fill it out electronically via Love My Kwinana. I believe the city's community safety officer is looking to have about 3,000 surveys conducted over the month. I think we're currently at, I think she said this morning, about 1,300 surveys have been completed at the many events that have occurred. And I attended all the other events that have been mentioned. Lastly, I would like to just acknowledge the councillors that are up for election to start with. Deputy Mayor, just thanks for your assistance as the Deputy Mayor during my first 2 years as Mayor. Councillor Rouse, you will always defend the city in a heartbeat in social media, so I wish you all the best. And Councillor Sargent, you always ask the questions that no one else wants to ask. So again, I wish you, all 3 of you, good fortune, I guess, in Saturday's election. Obviously, we will have at least one new councillor sitting at the table. So for the people viewing at home, if you haven't voted, please ensure that you do vote. Get your ballot into the box between now and 6 p.m. on Saturday. Your vote does count. Currently, the turnout for this election is lower than the previous election, so we certainly do encourage people to turn out and vote. I guess you can't have a whinge about it if you didn't vote for someone to represent you. That's the best way to actually achieve some significant change within the city. Can I also just add to the councillors that are up for election, and Councillor Kearney, who is obviously retiring, I think we probably forget about the significant things that have actually occurred over the last 2 years within the city, and that the things that you have contributed to as a city, one of which is the early stages of the largest single investment in community infrastructure in the city, which is the refurbishment of the aquatic, along with the regional open space, which this council obviously endorsed the process forward. So certainly there's plenty of things to pat yourselves on the back for. There's certainly plenty of things that you'll be able to tell your your family into the future that you had a say in influencing or shaping those things into the future. And lastly, could I just acknowledge Councillor Kearney, your retirement. Many years ago when I was elected, 18 years this month, I sat exactly where you sat, and I sat next to former Councillor Kearney, and former Councillor Kearney taught me all he knew, taught me or he probably taught me the bad things in council to do. But certainly my time when Merv was on council, it was very enjoyable, and certainly I got to know you over the years through that relationship. In the last 4 years, obviously, during your time on council, your family has played a significant role in the history of the city through involvement in sports clubs and the like, and more recently with the owning of the local hardware shop and landscape yard. So I certainly wish you and Merv all the best. And I echo the other councillors. Hopefully, you don't come astray with former Councillor Kearney. Well, you know what happened last time. You went caravanning with the first caravan. So there are no items of confidential nature. I declare the meeting closed at 6:56. Thank you for attending. Did Fiona win? No one won.
Needed to go 2 more minutes.